Ash. Probably one of the stupidest movies to be released this year. The longer this movie goes, the dumber and less adherence to any plot or rules it maintains. The characters, Brian and Rhea, played by Aaron Paul and Eliza Gonzalez, are idiots. But Eliza at least has an excuse because her character suffers from amnesia when the plot needs her to. Aaron Paul is the best actor by far, with the rest of the cast, who are playing characters whom are completely pointless, give middling to downright bad performances. I'm not sure how much I can blame them, though, because the script they were given is a confused mess of shitty dialogue, plot contrivances, and an annoying announcement voice that spouts off every time the movie doesn't think the audience is smart enough to know what's going on. Not only does the announcement voice tell the audience something is happening, half of the dialogue in this movie are Rhea or Brian telling each other what they're doing. The plot of this movie is so confusing and messy that halfway through, it was like the writer went, fuck, this sucks. How can I try to make this all fit together? And just gave a whole 10-minute recap so that we could have something to grab onto. The problem is, the 10-minute recap is a better story than the one we're getting in the main story. The story is told in a series of cryptic flashbacks and plot quote-unquote discoveries. I'm going to attempt to summarize the plot now. Rhea wakes up in her room bloody and dizzy. She can't remember what happened, and when she leaves her room, she finds carnage with all of her crewmates dead. After going outside without a suit on to check where she is, she discovers a dusty-looking planet with a beautiful celestial sky. She almost chokes to death because, duh, foreign planet. So she goes back inside and closes the door. No sooner does somebody else show up at the door. It's Brian, one of the crew members that had to stay in a space station above the planet to maintain comms with Earth and the rest of the crew planet side. He explains that Rhea sent him a distress signal and he came to check out what it was, but because Rhea is suffering from amnesia, she can't help him. As the movie goes on, Brian starts to show signs that he may not be who he is, and Rhea becomes suspicious. The rest of the movie is Rhea discovering who or what Brian really is and trying to save herself and get back to the space station so she can just die there. I honestly don't know how to summarize this movie any better than that. The whole time you're watching, some new information gets presented either through dialogue exposition or a flashback that completely contradicts the rules or previous information we got in the last scene. The story is broken up by shitty, loud noise jump scares and flashbacks that I think are inserted to confuse the audience to stop them from thinking about the plot for a moment. I really did have a hard time after the jump scares to remember what I had literally just watched. Almost every single plot contrivance and convenience for a sci-fi horror happens in this movie. This movie is like somebody watched Alien, Event Horizon, and Pandorum and tried to smash all three scripts into one. It's almost like every scene inspired by one of those three movies is like, here's the Event Horizon scene, here's the Alien scene. It's boring, uninspired garbage. The director, Flying Lotus, didn't even want to put his real name, Steven Ellison, in the credits for how embarrassingly bad this movie is. It's not all bad, though. The spacesuit and spaceship design, music, and even some of the CGI are pretty damn good. And the movie is at least interesting enough to look at that you don't start to feel the runtime until the third act when the movie tries its damnedest to end. When it finally ends, you're just sitting there like, what the fuck did I just watch? Was this a movie or three movies trying to be a singular movie? Anyway, yeah, this movie's bad, and I wouldn't recommend going to the theater to watch it. Moreover, I wouldn't recommend streaming it either. There are several other great sci-fi horror movies that are scarier and smarter than this.